Good morning, everybody. I'm Reverend Rob Banaszak, and I'm the pastor of the Institute for Spiritual Development in Washington, D.C. And I thank you for joining us here in this sanctuary of our imagination on the second Sunday of 2022. The Institute for Spiritual Development is a God-centered, spiritually inclusive, metaphysical church and community dedicated to our growing spiritual awareness in an atmosphere of unconditional love and acceptance. And here in this sanctuary of our imagination, I say to you, welcome home. And let us pray. Today is a miracle, our unique treasure to claim. We are awake. We are alive. We are together. O divinity, O presence, as we celebrate today, we open our hearts to truth. We lift our veil of denial. We cease disguising our authentic self. Today, we are the light we seek, the love we know, and the miracle we are. Just as we created. And so it is. And now let us recite together the Lord's Prayer, the Lamsa translation. It will appear on your screen. And we say together, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done as in heaven, so on earth. Give us bread for our needs from day to day, and forgive us our offenses as we forgive our offenders. And do not let us enter into temptation, but deliver us from error. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. And now we will recite together the principles of understanding that unite us, which will appear on your screen. And I invite you to just take a moment to perhaps either say them very clearly as I say them, or to sit back and really listen to their words and their exquisite explanation of who we are as a community, our roots and our heritage and our future. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe that infinite intelligence expresses itself in all existence and in humanity as a manifestation of divine love. We affirm the unity of all life everywhere. We believe in communion with all planes of existence, and that meaningful communication flows from this connection. We affirm the divine right of each individual to seek the truth in accordance with their consciousness, and that living in harmony with that truth defines true spirituality. We affirm that spiritual unfoldment is progressive and unending, and that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any soul. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the mandate, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We affirm the personal responsibility of the individual, and that we choose our happiness or unhappiness as we apply the laws of the universe. We affirm that life is eternal and that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We believe the ultimate expression of God in our life is unconditional love of our neighbors and ourselves. We accept that the living gifts of prophecy and healing reported in all sacred scripture are an affirmation of divine spirit working through us. And now we enter into what we call the wholeness and well-being portion of our service. And I invite you to silently pause and reflect on people in your life or circumstances in our world that you feel needs a little healing energy from our community today. And think of them and make a little mental list of them, because we'll ask you to speak their names aloud from your home in the prayer to follow. So just take a moment to reflect. And let us pray. O Infinite One, our brokenness seems real. Our disease feels chronic. Our healing appears unattainable. O Miraculous One, our clarity comes through your divine vision. Wholeness is immutable. Wellness is eternal. Help us expunge our limiting thoughts and fear-rooted stories so the miracle of wholeness and wellness are revealed to us and to all the names and situations we now speak aloud. With our expansive new vision and our fresh perspective, we embrace the truth of our holy perfection. When we share our healing, we are healed, and so it is. So as I'm wont to do, we're going to mix the service up just a little bit, not too much. But we're going to go right into our reading and our lesson, our homily for the day, which then will be followed by our meditation that will be aligned with our talk and our reading today. And so the reading is from the book, The Course in Miracles Experiment by Pam Grout. And this is an excerpt from the prologue, from the introduction. And this is Pam Grout speaking about her journey to becoming a practicer of the Course in Miracles. Before I became a serious student of A Course in Miracles, I was the last person anyone would have nominated to play a part in the dude, that's what she calls God, the dude's little project here on earth. At the time, my boyfriend, the last in a long series of boyfriends, had kicked me out of the house we shared in rural Connecticut. To top it off, I was 7 months pregnant, was obviously unmarried, and had nary a clue where to go. Even worse, it was mid-July, and the air conditioner in the little blue Toyota, in which I'd stuffed most of my earthly possessions, was on the fritz. Temperatures averaged 100 degrees as I set out across the country, big as a house, pointed in the general direction of Breckenridge, Colorado. Clearly, something needed to change. The course, which I ultimately began to follow in earnest, had the audacity to suggest I was responsible for the train wreck of a life. It implied that if I would simply let go of all my mad fixations, my he done me wrong blockages, and all the other clutter I'd picked up about the way the world works, I could actually be happy. It suggested that the only reason I wasn't experiencing big-ass love and swimming in perpetual abundance was because my consciousness was on red alert. My thoughts view the world as my sworn enemy. In short, it challenged the very foundation of my life. I didn't let go without a fight. My conversations with the voice went something like this. But what about all my problems? I must analyze and fix them. Let go, the voice seemed to suggest. But what about good and evil, right and wrong? Resign now as your own teacher, the voice clearly advised. But slowly, inch by inch, I gave up the reins to my beliefs and old mental constructs. It began to occur to me that if I had the power to create an ongoing disaster, I might also have the power to create a life I could enjoy. The Course pulls no punches, going so far as to guarantee that perfect peace and perfect joy are my inheritance. All I have to do is give up my belief in deprivation and lack. But that's so hard, I whined. It's not hard. The voice was insistent. It's your natural state. It's just very different than the way most people think. I also learned from the Course that the tall blonde chick in the mirror isn't really me. The depressed pregnant woman driving the blue Toyota cross country was nothing but a false identity I'd been taught to assume by a world that worships separation and limitations. By focusing on that little self, I completely missed my connection to this other thing, this bigger thing that many call God. I had completely imprisoned myself by zeroing in on this rickety body that was never, no matter how many face creams I used, no matter how many downward-facing dogs I did, no matter how many Wayne Dyer books I read, was going to be good enough. And that's what the Course is about, taking the wrecking ball to mental constructs that have imprisoned us for far too long. And that was an excerpt from the prologue, the introduction to The Course in Miracles Experiment by Pam Grout. So I love this book, so much so that we had a book discussion group in which we focused on it for several weeks, a couple of months ago, and realized pretty early on that this book written by Pam Grout, which is an interpretation of the workbook section of the main Course in Miracles text, was far too dense in its small size to make it through, because the book follows the workbook, again, of the main text, which is an exercise, a lesson for every day. So we love this idea of revisiting this group because the idea behind this group is that it is not a book discussion group. It is a Course in Miracles exercise lesson implementation group. So we agree as a group, which met for the first time this past Thursday, that we have the book and we are going to do the exercise, do the lesson for each day of the year for as long as we are in this group together. So on Thursday, it was the 6th of January. If you had had the book prior to that, you had read the lessons and we were prepared to talk about the lessons on Thursday. And the reason I loved this group was because we weren't just working with the Course in Miracles content, which we haven't really focused on ourselves as a church intensely in the past. But we were working with daily lessons, something for each day of the year, something to keep us in the zone focused on some growth each day of the year. And because the participants agreed to do each lesson each day, there was an accountability that we were going to hold ourselves to when we returned each week. And we'll be doing this at least for the next 3 months. So we return each week and then have the opportunity to discuss a standout lesson from the week prior. So maybe one of them worked really, really well for us and we could see how it was working in our lives immediately. Or maybe one was a challenge that we just couldn't seem to wrap our minds or our actions around. So we loved Pam Grout's approach because you just heard me read her introduction. It's irreverent, especially about and I didn't read a lot of it, about the density of the text, of the main text. But it's also extremely respectful. I mean, she claims very, very confidently that she aligned with this teaching and that she uses this teaching in a very real way. But we could all relate to some of the misgivings that we heard her reveal. You know, gosh, what about good and evil? What about this? But it's going to be hard, right? We've all felt this. We've all felt this from any of the books we might have read in the beginning of our journeys. We've gone through bad times, and surely we've all been sick and tired of being sick and tired. And yes, we found our metaphysics, and we did read our Wayne Dyer, and we listened to our Oprah Super Soul Sundays. And yes, it's empowering to read slowly, inch by inch. She says, I gave up the reins to my beliefs and old mental constructs. And she concludes by saying that's what the Course is about, taking the wrecking ball to the mental constructs that have imprisoned us for too long. So this wrecking ball to old mental constructs, this prison that they might have kept us in for so long, this is not unlike other language that we've heard or used in our classes, in our homilies, that language about deprogramming ourselves from those socialized narratives we have come to believe about ourselves or were raised with, or actually encouraged to embrace, right? And, you know, I'm all for a lesson and learning how to mix it up, especially if I've got accountability where I actually have to do it and talk about doing it. So I was like, bring it on. Give me my daily deprogramming directive, my assignment that takes me out of my comfort zone. And I was curious, am I going to assert or affirm myself to someone who may have bullied me? Am I going to try one thing that scares me every day? Am I going to live as someone else and develop empathy? Am I going to discover something about my shockingly judgmental personal biases that will catapult me to a new level of empathy? Bring on these lessons. So I'm going to read to you the lessons for the first 9 days. Each lesson that I'm going to read was accompanied with its own explanation chapter, its own discussion chapter, very short. And when I read the lessons, I was like, what's the assignment exactly? So bear with me. 9 lessons. Lesson 1, nothing I see means anything. Lesson 2, I have given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. Lesson 3, I do not understand anything I see in this room, out the window. Lesson 4, my thoughts do not mean anything. Lesson 5, I am never upset for the reasons I think. Lesson 6, I am upset because I see something that is not there. Lesson 7, I see only the past. Lesson 8, my mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Lesson 9, bringing us up to today, I see nothing as it is now. Those aren't lessons. They're statements. They're statements that seem, at least in the beginning to me, smugly cryptic, don't they? And some of them really, really irked me. Nothing I see means anything. I've given everything all the meaning it has for me. I don't understand anything I see. My thoughts don't mean anything. Doesn't she know who I am? And what the heck is the assignment anyway? So I explored the chapters, and once I stopped my panic and frustration, the assignment kind of revealed itself. Pay attention to what you see and realize that it in of itself has no inherent meaning. Pay attention to the meaning that I have given all that I see and encounter. Pay attention to what is appearing in my life and realize that I don't understand anything. Oh my God. The assignment is to pause and be aware, be mindful of what I am thinking, what I am seeing and feeling in the moment. That's all it is. It's not a grand gesture. Every one of these 9 lessons thus far, and I should have realized they were lessons, not assignments. These lessons are encouraging us to be aware of what we are experiencing in the moment. And so, since most of us grew up in the ego-driven universe where we develop habits and shortcuts to avoid thinking of a bigger universe than what is in our physical vision, or taking us away from what feels familiar and comfortable, we grow to believe that things in our life have inherent meaning. We grow to believe this, or we are taught to believe in the meaning of behavior, in the meaning of experience. And then we attach ourselves to what that meaning is, and we cling to it. And that prevents us from thinking in any expansive way beyond that meaning that we have assigned to them. And not only that, when something comes along to challenge what that meaning was that we assigned to it, we get defensive. We get defensive when we are made aware of things that do not align with the meaning or the way that we are looking at something, the way that we have always thought that it had meant, because we gave it that meaning. And I realized that this is pretty clever, because just realizing, taking the moment to realize that in fact we have, as a society, as humanity, developed these systems of limiting, imprisoning attachments to the world around us. Just realizing that that's what the root of these things are, that's the beginning of this wrecking ball to the life that I've known, the one that's going to clear the way for this new way of being, for this freedom of being. The very act of stopping where we are and checking in with what we are thinking and feeling begins to draw our power back, because we're not trained to do that. We are trained to operate on autopilot. We're trained to operate on impulse. We're trained to operate on what is next and available and feels good right away. But if we just take moments in our day, we begin to draw our power back, because then we get to choose. Do I move forward with whatever's going on, or do I choose to step back? we can begin to choose to change things that we don't want to be feeling, that we didn't even know we were feeling because we were on autopilot. So it's kind of meta, what am I thinking right now? Well, I'm thinking about what triggered this thinking, right? And that thought might have come from inside me, and how might I shift it or release it if I don't want to be thinking about it? I'm thinking about this thought. But really, I'm just being mindful of my mind. How do I accept some of these lessons, though? My thoughts don't mean anything. Okay, I can feel the resistance. At the same time, cue the thinking about my thoughts. I'm not really upset about the reason that I think I'm upset. What? You don't know me, A Course in Miracles. How do you know what I am upset about? But cue the reflection. Gee, I'm not upset about the weather or the bus being late or my creepy coworker. Then what is it? Wow, it might be me. So I'm beginning to get it now. My issues of pain and angst and separation come from a system that has fed me lies about what is meaningful and what is acceptable about me in the world that I'm living in. And if I align with these lies by embracing only what I have internalized as acceptable, I temporarily soothe that angst. But that angst only festers as I learn to deny or ignore anything about me that the world has deemed unacceptable. I cease to live a fully free and integrated life with myself. I can't feel aligned by simply affirming in a mirror until I'm blue in the face. This work is about committing to me, not to the Course in Miracles, not even to my group. It's committing to me to be relentless in checking in and embracing my thoughts and feelings, whatever they are. Even if I discover thoughts that I don't like or frighten me, or someone told me long ago that they were unacceptable for me. I must love all of me, not just what our society has chosen what is acceptable to love, because all of me, all of you, all of everything is miraculous. I am miraculous. You are miraculous. I am good. I am bad. I am ugly. I am beautiful. I am whole. We have the line in our Declaration of Principles, which I just stated moments ago. We affirm the personal responsibility of each individual to seek the truth in accordance with their consciousness, and that living in harmony with that truth defines true spirituality. And more importantly, we choose our happiness or unhappiness. So I've always thought, well, yeah, we choose our happiness or our unhappiness. First, I learned it wasn't mutually exclusive. First, I learned, oh yeah, we do choose both. But even when I realized that we do choose both, I thought, well, if I'm unhappy, that's my choice, right? But when I look at it in this context, it's not about the happiness that we are affirming. It is about the choice. We choose our happiness and we choose our unhappiness. How great is that? We do it every day. It's the choice. It's the choice that we have that allows us to rise above, because then we choose who we want to be in those moments. Now, these reflections go against everything that we've learned about the truth of who we are. As humans, we're hammered with the denial and the resistance to the truth that we are miraculous perfection. We are all one. Life is a miracle. We've built up ancestral systems of lies that have clung to illusions that separate us from this truth and from each other. And so I must be, in this journey, willing to accept that nothing I have ever learned, nothing that I've ever known about this system is what I thought it was. How do we break free? How do we break free? It's a house of cards, right? If we're built on systems that have kept us separate, that have only allowed us to express what we have been deemed in the moment as acceptable, where do we go from that? But I see that the key is curiosity. I think curiosity is what allows us to move through the fear. Of course, it's a scary prospect to begin this journey, to be on this journey, knowing that there is a quicksand of empty meanings that we have built generations on. But if we turn our mindset as we commit relentlessly to pursue the truth, we can be curious. Instead of berating ourselves for not realizing that we were on quicksand, let's be curious as to why we had blind spots and what we might do to minimize them in the future. Let's be curious about why something or someone hurt us, or disturbs us, frightens, or unsettles us, or inspires us, motivates us, and energizes us. And let's be curious about what we might do as we gain this unlearning in our community, what we might do to release other people's own meanings and attachments of experiences that don't serve them, that don't serve us, because we make our own. Let's allow for our curiosity that launched our spiritual quest. Let's allow that curiosity to unite us as a community so that we can together discover where we've come from with curiosity and consciously plan and take responsibility for becoming who we want to be. That sounds pretty exciting. It's all about the choice. Let's choose curiosity. And of course, our Course in Miracles experiment discussion group on Thursday evenings. Maybe we'll see you there next week. And thank you. So I wanted to jump on this idea of curiosity, this idea of opening ourselves up to all parts of us, to our wholeness, to our totality. So I thought the best way to do it is in our meditation. And so you can take with you into this meditation any images that you started to receive as you listened to either Pam Brout's introduction or to the words of the homily or to some of the ideas about wholeness, about breaking through, about having the courage to know that things might not be what they were, but once we know, we can make them what we want them to be in this meditation. So relax. Make a nest for yourself right now. If you are sitting in a chair, make sure that your back is against the seat and that it is nice and straight, but not rigid, and that you've got your feet planted firmly on the ground, and maybe your hands are resting gently in your lap, turned up to receive, or if you want to place them on your knees down to ground yourself as you make this journey into your meditative state. And so before we close our eyes, let's just together take 3 deep breaths. We're going to take the first 2 with our eyes open and just kind of pay attention to what you're seeing and feeling as you inhale fully, as you cleanse yourself with that breath all the way through your body. And then as you release that breath back to the world, release those toxins and get ready for the next breath. So let's inhale and hold, and then exhale. And again, inhale, hold, and exhale. And now on this last one, inhale, hold, and then as you exhale, allow your eyes to just flutter shut. Gently, not too tightly, just gently closing. And so our breath is going to remain deep and full and intentional, but much more of a regular breath at a regular pace. Just making sure that we keep focused on it in these moments before we drift into our meditation, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling again and exhaling. With each breath, more and more relaxed wherever you are in your nest or on your chair. Breathing naturally. And as we allow our relaxation to take us into our meditative space, we move through our physical body with just a quick, energizing scan, starting from our toes. Just imagine this ever so gentle, energizing current just running through our body, activating the energy within. And as it passes through each chakra, from a root to our sacral, to our solar plexus, to our heart chakra and throat and third eye, right up through the scalp. We are energized and relaxed. And in this space where we feel energized yet relaxed, we realize that we are no longer in physical pain or discomfort. That beautiful current just eliminated any of our physical or our emotional or our spiritual pain. And in this relaxed state, we feel prepared and ready. We feel ready to open ourselves to our total presence and being. And we'll do this by thinking of something that we deeply value and treasure about ourselves. Something that we know beyond the shadow of a doubt is a source and an expression of beauty of our being and presence, whether out in the world or in the privacy of our room. We allow that thought of beauty, that sense of our own personal magic that exists without context because it is inherent in us. We allow the beauty of that feeling to carry us, to envelop us, to nourish us, and remind us of our truth. It's this feeling, this thought that allows us to know beyond any doubt that we do indeed love who we are. And now, in this state of delicious comfort, we're going to greet a thought. Maybe it's one that we've had sitting here. Maybe it's one that we had this morning as we woke up or as we began moving through our day. That thought about ourselves that we do not like to focus on. Maybe it's a value judgment. Maybe it's something about ourselves that we don't even remember how we began thinking it. It knocks at the door of our emotions, of our being. We feel ourselves wanting to run and hide from this gremlin of a thought that we spend so much time avoiding. But we are going to grow beyond this, and we are going to invite that thought, invite that self-judgment, that self-deprecating judgment. We're going to let it in right now. Open your heart. Open your being to this thought, this idea, this part of you. And as you open this door, as you open your heart, as you open with this key, you're suddenly struck by how much it looks and sounds and talks and thinks like that wonderful, good part of you that you have no problem bringing out and expressing. And this perplexity turns into knowledge that is almost instantaneous. Maybe your thought or your feeling is rage or confusion or thoughtlessness. Whatever it is, allow this part of you to be welcome where it is right now. Welcome it. As you glance at this part of you that is you, your heart melts and begins to open even further as this part of you asks you, pleadingly, but without expectation, can you hug me? Can you embrace me? Because I am you. And when you push me away, you are pushing away you. You cannot be, I cannot be the full expression of myself unless you embrace and hug me. And since you invited me here, I think you know that you are ready. And so here in this space where we aren't in our physical bodies, we can feel the outstretch of our spiritual arms. We can feel the touch of this part of ourselves, a part that has something to say to us, that has a voice to be heard. We allow this part to melt with us and become part of our wholeness. And as the hug, as the embrace becomes tighter and tighter, we feel that thought, that feeling that we've run from just absorb into us and allow it to inform us with no power over our choice. That self emerged with us and merged with us. Makes us stronger, more courageous, and more beautiful than we thought possible. And we are struck with the understanding that there are so many parts of us that deserve, that are longing to be united and reunited in our totality, overcoming any of the societal expectations or impressions that we have been burdened with, because we are who we are. We are not those thoughts. We are the thinker of those thoughts. And feeling that sense of wholeness and feeling the understanding of what we might do to continue this journey to wholeness by embracing perhaps the self that we might have considered shadow, but in this case we'll consider just looking glass versions of ourselves without judgment. And we plan, maybe hope, maybe wish for this year that we can continue this reunification process with our whole selves. And with this sense of peace, with this sense of wonder at what is left, our curiosity is piqued, so we know we'll return. Let us choose to return to our physical bodies, our physical space, in our virtual spiritual community. And we begin this return by just becoming aware that we are breathing. There's a breath that is going in through our nose and filling our bodies with cleansing oxygen and releasing out into the air around us. And as soon as we become aware, we can continue to further our re-entry into this physical plane. And we'll take 3 breaths. We'll keep our eyes closed for our first 2 of these last 3, and then we will open them together by inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling, inhaling, and exhaling. And as we exhale in this last one, let us open our eyes. Thank you for having the courage to make this journey today and to get in touch, even if it was for a short period of time, with one of those parts that is the part of a narrative that is no longer necessary and no longer yours, because you don't need it anymore, because you need all of you with you at all times. So we can continue to build ourselves, to make ourselves even more whole in the days ahead. And I give thanks for you today. And I give thanks so much that we can begin our prosperity portion and reflect on just how many gifts, how much abundance we have. We do a lot of reflection, so once again, and you can't reflect too much on your abundance, I don't think. So think about it again. If you're thinking about the same things that you thought of last week in your abundance, or new ones, or new experiences that happened this week, just go there. Think of all of your gifts, all of your talents. That's part of the abundance. Think of all of them and imagine, be grateful you don't ever have to live without them right now. Experiencing that deep appreciation, we know we can proclaim, yes, divine love always has, and divine love always will answer all of our needs. And so this is the time that we invite everyone, if they are able to make their congregation to the Institute for Spiritual Development in Washington, D.C., always grateful for all of your support. This new online community is will require a budget for the coming year. And that includes as helping to support events like classes and guest instructors and possible in-person events that we could have as the year unfolds. So every dollar counts. We are so grateful for all that you have been supporting us with and for all that you will continue to support us with. I will put the link to the donation section on the chat. And you can make your donation there again. I appreciate it very much. I like to paste the whole thing. You may have to just cut the whole thing. I'm not sure if it's all going to link, but there's the link for yourselves. You can go to our website to support and join or renew. I'm also going to put it in the YouTube page. So thank you for bearing with me as I do so. Now we can once again return to our order of service. And we do this by giving thanks. We thank you, O Divine Father Mother, for the miracle of this day, this week, and this year, and all the opportunities that are with us now. May we accept, embrace, and share all gifts born of these miraculous possibilities with gratitude and with love. We thank you now for what is in the present and what is to be. And so it is. And so just some brief announcements for this week. A reminder that this is the renewal period up through Saturday. This is your chance to renew and participate in the elections for the trustee officers and trustees coming up at our annual convention, which will be Sunday, January 30th, after our Sunday service. So renew your membership. Your family membership is $40. Your individual membership is $30. You can do it right from the space on the website, and I can pull that link up. I'll do that before we finish today. And if not, you can text me and ask for it, or you can go to the website. But yes, it's your membership counts, your vote counts, and your voice counts. So this is the time. We are encouraging everybody to be active in this new paradigm, to participate actively with this new paradigm. You know, come to things, experience things, let us know what you like and what you don't like, and make your voice heard. And again, this is a community, and the community needs the community to survive, because that's what we are. So we are so excited about what can happen and how we can be inspired with the input and participation by all of us and the resources that you have all been so generous with. So don't forget, renew your membership if you haven't already. And our annual convention will be Sunday, January 30th. We give a report on the business dealings of the church, and we will have election of officers on that day as well. This week, we will continue with our evening meditation, which we do every Wednesday, at least the first 3 Wednesdays of the month. So this will be our third one coming up already. So join us at 7:30 p.m. The link will be posted on the website. And then Thursday night, once again, the Course in Miracles Experiment Discussion Circle. So much fun. We had such a beautiful talk last week, and really was very impressed and grateful and in awe of those who chose to express and to share some of their experiences, their vulnerabilities, and their joys as they move through this book. So if you don't have the book now, don't worry about it. You can just pick up from where you start. So whatever day we're starting that day, which will be the 15th or the 13th, Thursday. Whatever that day is on Thursday, that's when you can start, and then just pick it up from there. It's every day of the year. And so we are planning on doing this for at least 3 months and hopefully continue it beyond. But it's so much fun, and what a great place to kind of meet and get to know even more of your fellow congregants. And on Saturday, January 22nd, I'm going to allow Reverend Fran, if she's here, to unmute herself in a second. And she can talk to you about our spiritual gift share, which we are once again offering, and is always popular and gives people the opportunity to try and experience new psychic and intuitive modalities for themselves.
Thank you, Reverend Rob. Yes, on the 22nd, which is Saturday at 10 a.m., we'll be exploring the techniques and the philosophy of Qigong. And this Qi is the Chinese word for energy. And so we are exploring energy. The techniques help you not only to relax, but to raise your energies, and at the same time. So come join us and plan on a hands-on experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Fran. Thank you so much. And I do encourage everybody to continue to check the website as we are booking things as we go along in the coming year. Some things you might want to make note of. We've got a wonderful workshop, which already has 21 registrants in February. February 19th, we are having new instructor. His name is Garrett Jackson, and he is a very, let's just say he's very youthful, and he is both a shaman healer as well as a shamanic healing trainer. So he's doing an intro to shamanic healing on Saturday, February 19th. It's going to be from noon to 1:30, I believe. It's free. And we are excited that we've had so many people so enthusiastic about learning more about shamanic healing, and hoping that that will then unfold into something that is even more in depth that we can all participate in. So join us on that day. Also, Bill Sanda, who we all know as our Akashics Records maven, is returning in March for his Akashics healing workshop. It's a wonderful experience, very much like our message gallery, which we had last night, where we all are in the same space and experiencing everybody as they go through their individual work. So it's a profound experience, and it really kind of connects everybody in spirit in that space. Related to that, I do want to thank everybody who made our message gallery last night so wonderful. We were sold out, and which wasn't the case like 2 hours before the gallery began, and we signed on, and there everybody was. We had 4 wonderful readers who gave readings to everybody there. It was so much insight and exchange, and I feel like there's a camaraderie that becomes a part of the event, even though we're actually not speaking to each other as a discussion, but it really, there's a great intimacy and a lot of fun that is from that. So Bill Sanda's workshop will be a lot like that experience. Please check the website out for a description and join us on that day. It's a lot of fun. And I think that's all I will say for now, unless anybody wants to wave at me in the gallery view and tell me that there's something else. All right. Well, let's move forward with that order of service because we got messages to get soon. So today for our congregational prayer.
Oh, excuse me. I think Martha said.
Oh, Martha, hello. I'm sorry, I couldn't see my whole screen. Yes. Oh, it is. I know what she's going to talk about.
Not necessarily. I wanted to just remind you, because astrology is so important, and then it hits us very quickly, that Mercury retrograde will start on the 14th of January and go until February 3. So I think it's important to look at that and see how it affects you. It always affects people in their own astrological sign. So it's a time to have the Capricorns and the Aquarians, just heed all the advice about Mercury retrograde, and don't let it get to you too much. I wanted to remind you about that.
Thank you, Reverend Martha. The great thing about, so when we hear Mercury retrograde, most people like on the street are like, oh my God, it's Mercury retrograde, it's going to be crazy. And so I better, or start to apply, kind of events that happen to the Mercury being retrograde. But as Kathy Kirsten, our colleague and friend from ISD Sparta and our astrology maven has said, these are opportunities for us to pay attention, right, Reverend Martha? They're not to, to pawn off as an excuse. They are opportunities to be even more attentive to our communications efforts so that they don't go off the rails. So it's just a time to be a little more conscious of what we say and how we say it, and then let the rest be what the universe shares with us. So.
One other item about Mercury retrograde, they say that we have special insights during Mercury retrogrades, and it's a good time to keep a journal. So that's a little bit of advice for the beginning of the year.
Great. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Reverend Martha. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
So let's return to our order of service. And for our congregational prayer, I would like us to say together the Prayer of Stewardship. And we can do this. It's going to show up on your screen right here. And so this prayer really kind of unites us in our care of this community. So it's one that really kind of affirms that this is our responsibility. This is the responsibility that we're taking to ensure that we are all continuing to grow and evolve and welcome new energy to us. So together we can say, Infinite Spirit, at this blessed gathering today, we celebrate the divinity of all that is. We honor the Institute for Spiritual Development as a living entity brought to extraordinary life by the presence of everyone here now. by the essence of the ancestors who have come before us, and by the imagination of all the souls who will come after us, carrying her into the future. We ask you to give us strength to heed her call of stewardship, so that together we can make her who she was created to be, a beacon guiding all spiritual seekers to a deepening connection to the divine within. May we always encourage, inspire, and energize one another in sharing our gifts, our talents, and our resources to ensure our spiritual community's life, longevity, and legacy. And so it is. Amen. So it's that time. It is time for messages. Let me get the gallery view going. I haven't done this in a while. I'm excited. And so I would prefer, if you do want a message, if you can make your video, if you can share your video with me so that I can see your smiling face and know that you are excited about the video, or about your video, about your message. But I want to come to Tanya because she was there last night as one of our participants. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tanya. So, and it's funny because I remember your message clearly from last night, which is not usually possible, but I'm going to kind of piggyback on this. So it's curiouser and curiouser for you, marching down the road, always wanting to know more about whatever you're seeing. And so last night we were talking about how your natural tendency is to continue to ask why. So someone gives you an answer and you're like, why, like that cartoon or the kid that always says why whenever he gets the answer. Just, it's never enough. And so, last night was the opportunity for you to take a step back and to absorb the information that you're getting before you get on to the next why, because sometimes things get complex enough that you need to process what you are receiving when you continue to ask why. Now, there also is a point where why does not matter anymore. So what matters is what is happening as a result of whatever that why is about. So yes, curiosity is important. And yes, absorbing your answers are important, Tanya, but also what is important is your response to what you hear and how that unfolds. So this is where your personal responsibility comes in. You get your information and then you have to act on it. So it no longer is why, it's what. What do I do? Like we said last night, what's next? What now? So in your step process, when you get to that point, you want to be able to then ask the question, if you want to be curious, what now? What next? So continue that. It's a great journey that you're on, and you will get the answers if you just ask for them, which I have no doubt you will. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Hi, Reverend Evelyn. May I come to you? How are you? So, I will admit that I am indeed I'm influenced in my messaging by your clean shaven look, and I'm just hearing smooth sailing. So there is a you remember when we were younger and Joe Namath had that commercial for Noxzema, and Farrah Fawcett had and it was let Noxzema cream your face so the razor won't. And so, the idea behind that was the smoothness of the face, the lack of resistance from the beard. I think that this is your perhaps temporary and hopefully temporary opportunity to just be in the smoothness, to see what you can accomplish while the going is smooth. And it's important because it's not always there and you're not always there, but when it's there and it was there out of necessity, you might as well take the message and the moment to reflect on smooth sailing, what you can do in this time of smoothness. Right, there you go, chill out. So thank you. Thank you. Elizabeth McCain, hello, may I come to you?
Yes, thank you.
So I don't know if anybody ever really did this, but I remember when I was a kid and there would be a cartoon or a show, I guess it was like in Victorian times, maybe it was like Oliver or something where, Dickinsonian, where the person or Scrooge or somebody would toss something to a kid and the kid would pick it up and bite on it to make sure it was actually the coin, right? The silver or whatever it was supposed to be, right? That's why they did it. So it's a verification process. And I think the message for you today is that it is not a bad thing to verify. So if it's about payment, check to make sure that it's there. If it's about authenticity, you might want to just give it a little tug to make sure, give it a little pinch to make sure that it's real. This is not a skepticism. It is truly a healthy verification so that you then feel comfortable to move on with the choices that you've made. So however you got that coin that was flipped down, you pick it up and you determine. It's just a matter. It's almost like using another modality to see, like a pendulum or reflexology. So just check it. And if it feels like it's real, then it's real. So it's all about what you feel. Make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, Deborah. May I come to you?
Yes,
Thank you for joining us today. So picture this, it's Titanic, it's Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet on the bow of the ship. I'm the king of the world. So now don't think of them and imagine yourself in that spot where you always have had the lady of the ship or whatever as part of the carving. So this is you. You are on this ship and you are leading this ship. And you are the guide, you are the nose, you are the thing that is pulling this ship forward. And it's exhilarating and it's wonderful. And yes, you too should throw your arms back and proclaim loudly, I am the king or queen or both of my world, because you are. And it never can be repeated enough times so that you can understand it and live it. So it's both proclaiming it as well as basking and enjoying in the breeze on your face in this role and the journey that you're making as you move forward. So you are the ruler of your world, shall we say, and just do it and claim it. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Claudia and Dave. I haven't seen you guys in a while. How are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Great. So may I offer you a message for the two of you?
Yes,
Sure.
thank you.
So I think I'm seeing the word play. I'm seeing the word fun. I'm seeing the word I'm actually seeing the word roughhousing. So I think this is about this rough and tumble experience is something that this is your time to do that. It is. I think you guys have always you clearly enjoy your life, and you clearly you look at life with the positivity and with the wonder that is so infectious. This is like more about you. Kind of taking it a step farther, kind of throwing more caution to the wind and allowing this kind of almost reckless abandon, but you'll never be reckless. But some abandon to this enjoyment that you're having. So if you're planning a trip together, think of something that might take you just slightly out of a zone that is exhilarating, that is energizing, but is not going to be too much danger. But something that is kind of the safest exploration of the next phase of extreme experiences that you might want to take. I think you guys are both pretty courageous. So I have a feeling you're both willing to try some cool things, but it's play and it's play with a little edge. So check that out. Okay.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome, guys.
Why did it end?
Hi, Robin Olson.
Hello, Rob.
So this is not a surprise, but I'm almost seeing like animated musical notes kind of playing around your head, and it's almost like the cartoon, the follow the bouncing ball, as it's, you know, it's coming through, and the notes are playing. I don't even hear a tune. I just hear this free expression from like this cacophony of music, and I feel like the message is to find something that is this immersive, almost meditative musical experience. I don't know if it's like, if it is a drum circle, or if it's a circle that you're going to be playing in, or a space that you can get to be in the center of this circle of musicians and allow it to wash over you. There is some healing power that you have access to in your day-to-day life, because of course it is a part of your day-to-day life. But this requires you to take it a step beyond kind of your professional, or even, I think even your partnership with Teresa. This is something that is you, and it is something that is a place where spirit and music are part of this experience. You know, it might even be like a nightclub or something. It's someplace where you can get yourself in the center of speakers, where there is just, where the sound in you is what's lifting you off of the ground. So I think that's going to be very healing, as well as invigorating as well.
Thank you.
All right. Well, it is. I think that's it, guys. It's 12:22. I thank you so much for sharing in our messages today, and everybody being here. And we'll look forward to more in the future. So you guys can get on with your day, and let's return to our order of service. And that is simply with a short prayer of closing. And we pray, O miracles of creation, O community of curiosity, today we begin to unlearn the lies of separation and to align with the truth of our unity. Together we go forth, knowing in our hearts that all existence is a miracle, and we are miraculous perfection. May we share this awareness in our actions and attitudes here and as far as we go in the universe, forever and beyond. And so it is. Thank you all again for being here. Looking forward to more in the future. Have a wonderful Sunday. I think it's starting to rain here in DC.
Rochelle, can I?
Good day, everyone.
Hi, Steve.
Are we unmuting?
Rob, that was a magnificent meditation.
Oh, thank you, Carol. Thank you. I'm glad you were here. Yes, we are unmuted. Hi, Sandra. Good to see you all.
Hello to
Morning.
Rochelle.
Hi, Rev Rob.
Rochelle, it made me so happy to see you.
Oh, good. Rochelle.
Rochelle,
Yes, yes.
best wishes, love. How are you doing?
Rochelle, can
Rochelle?
you hear us?
Still there.
Oh, she doesn't have, sorry, it looks like she doesn't have sound available to her, so hopefully she heard us.
We love you, and we're happy to see
Well,
you.
yes.
You're here.
What did she look like?
Hugs.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys, enjoy your Sunday. Stay cool, stay dry. January's almost halfway there. Wow. Crazy.
Thank you. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you. That was great. My camera's not working.
Oh, okay.
My computer's decided not to recognize the camera or the printer.
That'll happen. That'll happen sometimes.
Yep.
So thank you. Sandra, thank you again for.
Thank you, Thank you so much. What a wonderful service and great meditation.
Great. Glad you all enjoyed it. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Be well.
Bye-bye.